Emulators. If you know remotely anything about console gaming, you probably know what an emulator is. Emulators allow games made for one specific system to work on another completely different system. I will openly and happily say I have used many emulators throughout my gaming life. Even as young as 7 years old when I decided to play Pokemon Emerald, the best Pokemon game, fight me, on the Visual Boy Advance emulator on my good old Windows XP tower. Better times. Settle down, Nintendo. You don't need to throw a cease and desist on this video. I'm the one setting up the court today, because I could discuss and debate the ethics of emulation and piracy all day, and maybe I will in another video, but not today. Today, I want to discuss the ethics of emulation with the only topic that people seem to trust me with, speedrunning. Settle down, settle down. The following is a mock reenactment of a court case involving speedrunning issues. If you are hurt by words spoken here at all in the slightest, I'd love to see you sue me, cause that would never happen in real life, right? Oh. You wouldn't sue a 19-year-old kid making a video right now, would you, Billy? Now before I present both sides' arguments, let me give some backstory to this case. With the rise of speedrunning over the past decade, more and more people have wanted to hop on the nerd bandwagon and do speedruns themselves. But here's the problem. Some people don't have the resources or income to speedrun a game on a platform it was meant to be played on. This is where emulators come in. Now, this really annoying 12-year-old German kid can stream Super Mario 64 speedruns at 360p and 10 FPS while using an overheated laptop that can barely run a web browser. You've seen this, don't even lie. Also, I'm part German, I can make this joke, back off. Now, we get to the juicy part.
All rise. Department 1 of the Speedrun Court is now in session. Judge Storster presiding. All comments in the comment section will be considered at a later time. Please be seated.
Alright, blah 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 blah. Do you both swear to say something that consists of words?
Yes.
Okay, before I further dive into emulator usage in speedrunning, I want to be a devil's advocate here and go over the pros and cons of allowing emulators for speedrun.
But isn't this the point of a court?
Pro emulation, please state your first point.
First of all, Your Honor, there's a lower cost barrier for using emulators. Let's say that someone wants to speedrun the original Super Mario Bros. On NES. Let's assume that they don't have any equipment required to stream said game and break down the cost. Are you with me yet?
Sure, keep going.
I found a few NES bundles that include controllers and all the hookups between $70 to $90. So let's say $70 to get everything needed just to buy the console.
That makes sense. That's about how much I paid for mine on eBay years ago.
Hey, can I say something really dumb right now?
Sir, you'll be up afterwards. I want to talk to a sensible human first.
But
Great. Now, on top of that, you need a capture card for video proof. Now, there are ridiculously cheap capture cards, such as the Easy Caps, that cost under $10. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not rely on cheap bootlegged wires mashed together. You need to spend a little bit of money to make sure it doesn't break and burn your house down in a month.
Agreed. In the speedrunning community, the typical capture card generally recommended for older consoles is the IO Data GV USB 2. It seems to go for about $45 nowadays, so let's go with that.
Oh, and don't forget, if you want to have the console input go both to the capture card and your TV, you also need a video splitter, which generally goes for around $7. Pretty cheap, but still another random cost.
What about the actual game, Super Mario Bros? Of course you need the game too, so let's add another $5 for the NES game that's most eligible to become a table coaster.
At this point, this is all the equipment you need for a basic speedrun stream, assuming you already have a computer that can record and or live stream. With these quick estimates, Your Honor, that is $127 you need to spend just to start going. This doesn't include other accessories if you want to enhance your stream, such as a microphone, webcam, and any other little gadgets. That doesn't even cover shipping costs either.
Well, if you already have a computer capable of streaming, you can probably run an emulator on it. At least an emulator for an older console like an NES. That is at least $100 you're going to save if you just play on an emulator instead.
Very well stated, Your Honor. Going hand in hand with what I previously said, the lower cost makes speedrunning more accessible.
hello, can I make some bogus definition of what a legitimate speedrun is?
Settle down. I said we will get to you. Shut it.
Anyways, with speedruns being able to be done with just an okay enough computer, even your 10-year-old cousin, who somehow enjoys Skrillex still while playing Minecraft all day, can speedrun Mario now.
That is quite true, but on a more serious note, this is great because the ceiling required for runners to play is lowered, which leads to even more competition in speed games.
If you don't mind, Your Honor, before I let this Reddit warrior lecture us about speedrun accomplishments, can I add one more point?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Lastly, it's weird to say, but emulation has helped make certain speedruns possible, or at the very least, more reasonable for people to play on. Do you want to speedrun Super Mario Bros. The arcade game? I hope you have the arcade cabinet handy.
Don't those sell for a few $1,000 a piece?
Yep, have fun emptying your pockets. Oh wait, arcade emulation exists? No problem. MAME to the rescue. MAME can emulate any arcade game you can think of, and has allowed runners to speedrun arcade games that otherwise wouldn't be possible.
The court should also note that many other platforms are in similar situations. Who the heck owns a oh, never mind. Forgetting that, allowing emulation gives new breath into games that might otherwise not be touched. Alright, let me get to what all the YouTube commenters, including our other guest, whine about all the time. The cons.
Your Honor, it's easier to cheat on an emulator. Yeah, Game Genie and such exists on consoles, but emulators allow you to modify anything. You can just edit a game or secretly throw in a cheat code. You could even play back a previously recorded emulator recording.
Yeah, but can't you just record your entire emulator window, or even your whole desktop to show that you never inputted or played back anything?
But what if he hacked his desktop?
What the hell are you talking about? Also, you know that webcams exist, right? Having a controller cam actually helped ban a cheater in Yoshi's Island a couple of years ago.
Doubt it.
I literally just showed it. Okay, whatever. Just tell me what else is still left inside your skull's tin can.
Okay, hear me out. It ruins leaderboards.
Could you elaborate?
How would it make you feel if your run on real hardware was beaten on an emulator by that little 10 FPS German kid you mentioned earlier?
First off, you know that kid never finished a run, right? I don't think he even knows how to jump. Secondly, the Super Mario 64 community solved this problem by making the leaderboards for each official release separate.
That is correct. The Super Mario 64 leaderboards are divided by N64, Virtual Console, and Emulator.
But inaccuracy!
Sir, you really need to elaborate. This is a court, not Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
If the platforms are that different, why even make different categories in the first place? Clearly, this means other platforms are inaccurate, and if one platform is inaccurate, that means everything else is inaccurate as well. Case dismissed.
Sir, I'm the fake judge, not you. We are not leaving. You realize platform accuracy is a case-by-case basis, right? Like, if your 2003 Toyota Prius makes you look like a douchebag, it doesn't mean your 2005 Mitsubishi Outlander will do the same. Mostly because the second car is way superior, but anyways, can my pro-emulator defendant back me up on this?
How did you know I drive a
Silent. Defendant, please continue.
I really don't know jack about cars, Your Honor.
I meant about emulator inaccuracy.
Just like how different consoles perform for better or for worse, it's the exact same for console emulators. There is no one size that fits all solutions.
Let's go back to the NES for example. How does emulation hold up there?
Well, with the NES being such an old console, multiple emulators for the platform are completely legal for speedrunning due to being virtually 100% accurate.
He said virtually! I caught him!
Please shut up.
I say virtually because no matter what, there will probably be very slight inaccuracies, even if it's a very minor fraction of a percent. The main thing to look at is, does the emulator have an advantage over a console?
That's a good question. Earlier this year, the accurate NES emulator, Messin, actually got banned in many communities due to adding a run-ahead feature that reduces lag in the emulator, hence giving an advantage to emulator players. See, that's the key difference. That emulator was banned due to an advantage. The approved emulators at worst have very slight disadvantages, but nothing that a console can't do just as well.
Okay, but why does Super Mario 64 separate the platforms into different categories? Do I have the IQ of a goldfish, or are we not following the rules of speedrun categories?
The answer to one of those questions is definitely yes, but what rules of speedrun categories are you talking about? There isn't a dictator that lays out what every community should do about different runs. It's up to individual communities. The Super Mario Bros. Community saw best to lump the platforms together due to non-console platforms having no advantage.
And to add to that, Mr. Harvard PhD over there, Super Mario 64 separates the categories due to the fact that different platforms can give you different advantages. The original N64 console is known to have a bunch of lag that is not properly emulated in neither Virtual Console or emulator.
Indeed. This means that speedruns vary on different platforms due to lag differences. The strats that players use on consoles to avoid lag don't exist on other platforms. This means that non-console players don't need to worry about that lag nearly as much.
Okay, so with that logic, I could just start speedrunning Super Mario Odyssey on an emulator, right? They don't have any separate categories or platforms, so it must be allowed.
First of all, do you know what a rules page is? Secondly, that is so wrong that I feel like my brainstem is cringing from confusion.
Emulation is great for older systems that have CPUs as slow as your comprehension, sir. But it becomes more of an issue the newer the platform is. This is due to the fact of what emulators are. They emulate a console.
Exactly. The more powerful and advanced a console is, the more power and more advanced engineering is needed to make a more powerful and accurate console emulator. This is why modern powerful consoles have either really inaccurate emulators or no emulator to even begin with.
Super Mario Odyssey and pretty much every game from the last 1 or 2 generations have banned emulators due to how inaccurate they are.
So, one game can allow emulators, and the other can ban it? What's a rules page? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Sorry, my brain is too big for this.
I think 95% of it is water, but anyways, yes. That is the beauty of speedrunning. There isn't some overlord ruling on what every person has to do. Each community is unique and gets to make their own rules. Usually the rules are decided by a combination of community interest and top players' opinions.
Great. I think we summed this up pretty well. Any final thoughts?
Give us the verdict already. I know I won, but I need my ego to be stroked more than a comb in a barbershop.
And the verdict is... listen to communities. There isn't a yes or no in any of this discussion. You know what the rules are? Read them. If you think you know how rules should be set up so well, then why don't you work your way up in the community?
But that means I'd actually have to be productive with my time. And I'm the one who just argued that Twitch is actually giving a hoot about creators on their platform right now.
You know the term bootlicker exists, right? Back to the spam bin you go. Have fun with your emulators, everyone, not you. Thank you for watching.